Good morning to all my fellow Americans. Here once again, my name is Eduardo Rodriguez, here from the island of Puerto Rico to inform on what's happening around the world, especially Cuba, which is my main concern, because it's the same thing. The same thing is a photocopy of the same thing that's happening in the United States with Joe Biden's communist regime, Islamic communist regime. It's the same oppression, the same persecution, the same intent to kill and to murder conservatives, which they already have done, like David Dorn and a couple others. Mine is not helping me, but there is cases where other people have been murdered by this oppressive regime, which is a copy of the communist regime. Talking about the communist regime of Cuba, a Cuban mom pleads for the prison authority not to beat her son, who is innocent. And believe me, they're innocent. The majority of these prisoners are innocent. I think his name is Aladir, if I'm not mistaken. And forgive me, the people of Cuba, if I'm mistaken and I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I think his name is Aladdin. I promised I was going to throw this out to the American public. The reason why I'm not doing this in Spanish, which I can do in Spanish, but I want the American people to see what Joe Biden is doing. And it's a photocopy of the same thing Biden's doing with the help of Bernie Sanders, who's a communist, a hardcore communist, and many others in his administration who are communists. He's not appointing conservative or people who are protecting the Constitution or freedom. You know, they lie when they say, "Oh, we're protecting our Constitution." You know, and they say it in such a way that you might even believe them. And then they're lying through their teeth. He's lying through their teeth. Plus, he got AOC, and he got the squad, which is composed of Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and many others who are communists, and not only communists, who are Muslims, wanting to eradicate, pleading for the eradication of Israel, the people of God, which was based on the Christianity that we all profess, many of us. Plus, even the Quran is based on the Torah, which Muhammad took as a basis for his supposed religion of peace, Islam. Here I gotta this is just a couple of things real quick. I'm gonna try to be as fast as I can. Cuban civilian brutally beaten by state police for not showing his identification card. This is happening in Cuba, and this will happen in the United States. Remember this. Remember my words. I'm seeing what's happening, and they're going to do the same thing. They're going to copy the same thing. As a matter of fact, they're already talking about implanting system by pronouncing the word hoarding, which is acaparamiento in Cuba. Hoarding. A lot of people, you got to know what hoarding is. I'm not going to explain it because you must know. Is the accumulation of reserves of food and other items, just in case there's a problem, economic problem, which is already happening. As a matter of fact, just like in Cuba, you see shelves, these shelves in food markets empty. Is that supposed to happen? Companies being burned down mysteriously in Virginia, Arizona, California, and I'm not talking about a couple of years ago. I'm talking about this year. Isn't that something to worry about or investigate? And they're not doing anything about it. Remember, we're under a communist regime, Islamic communist regime. They want to enslave the people. They want to create panic to the point where the people will submit for a sandwich. If they can find a sandwich, because they're going to try to stop us to death. And they're already doing it. As a matter of fact, I saw a video where this lady who was a professor in the a professor in the University of Cuba, English professor. Well, they say professor, not teacher. They call teacher the maestra, those who teach at the lower level. But a professor, that means she was a university professor. Because in Spanish it's called profesor, which in English would be professor. And she was begging for money to buy food because she didn't have any money to buy food. And she was basically crying. You know, this would hurt, this would break the heart of anybody who's sensible to the pain of other people, the suffering of other people. But the communists, they don't care. They'll see it and it's like nothing. In Islam, it's the same way too. If you're not a Muslim, any person, even if you're Muslim, you're not Muslim enough, you gotta go. You're annihilated. And forget about it. If you're Christian, you're number one on the list. If you're Jewish, the same. If you're a Buddhist, also. Anybody who's non-Islamic, you gotta leave this earth, period. And that's the people that Biden is letting in by the thousands. Come on in, including terrorists. So don't be surprised if suddenly there's a mass murder in California, there's a mass murder in Arizona, there's a mass murder in Virginia, there's a mass murder in all these states that are liberals, maybe even conservative, because these people do not respect where they stay. Where they stay is theirs, it's not ours anymore. That's what they claim. In the name of Allah, is theirs. They have a right to impose their will. Allah first, not to assimilate, to our customs. That's why we should force them, or you become a Christian, or you got to leave this country. Period. If you don't like it, you leave. You know, the Muslims don't deal that way. They will kill you. Period. Not that you have to leave. No, we'll give you the advantage. Hey, leave, and no, they will kill you. Period. That's it. Decapitated, shot, hung, any which way. They don't care. They'll find a way. What suits them, not you. Also in Santa Clara, Cuba, a state police shot and killed a child. This is in Cuba, Santa Clara. The city of Santa Clara in Cuba. And I believe it was in the same area, or maybe it could have been, because there's an uprising in Cuba right now. There's abuse, lack of food, lack of medicine. People are suffering. And, you know, people are screaming, you know, of the abuse and calling murders these cops. As a matter of fact, communist agents killed 2 Cubans. They murdered 2 Cubans. I believe on the same day, because I'm seeing this, according to what I'm seeing, this video, the child and the 2 Cubans on the same day. So it's 3 people that were murdered by the state police, and abusively. It's not that they're attacking, because they don't have nothing to, I mean, these people, they're just protesting for food. Food and constant lack of electricity to be able to cook their food, or gas to be able to cook and feed their kids. You know, they're protesting. That's it. You can't protest. You have to suffer and die in silence. Or die if you protest, or disappear, or they send you to prison. It's a freaking nightmare what they impose on the people. And Joe Biden's doing the same thing. Little by little, he's imposing. He's doing exactly what they're doing in a communist country. And you can't complain. As a matter of fact, you got to smile and love it. Giving illegals Social Security, all kinds of benefits, the right to vote. You know, even though in other states they're banning that, and letting transsexuals compete in sports. As a matter of fact, Even though there was a law, I think, I don't know if it was all in the whole country or some states, where they do not allow transsexuals to participate in women's sports. Look, right here, let me see. Reese Tress, excuse me if I didn't pronounce the name right, a 29-year-old transsexual. He looks like an Hispanic who was a Navy veteran. And I hate that, that really pisses me off because I was a Navy veteran. Oh, I'm a Navy veteran. Not that I was, because I was in the Navy, so that means I'm a Navy veteran. Not that I was, I still am. I'm still alive. Look at this. Incredible to believe. The guy who has no shame at all wins kids skateboarding tournament. This is in the Bible anyway. I mean, listen to this here also. Jesus mentioned that the last days will be like Sodom and Gomorrah. And it's just being like that. I mean, you see these people parading at noon, showing all their parts, their sexual parts. And they have no shame. With little kids present, mothers and, parading. And you can't complain. And the police won't arrest them for indecent exposure. So, this means Joe Biden's administration is the 666, and he is the Antichrist because he's permitting all this and more. As a matter of fact, an interview, believe it or not, he told the people, that the two African Americans that were interviewing, one was a lady, the other a male, telling them that he doesn't believe that driving while drunk is illegal. Can you believe this fiend from hell? And he has no shame about saying it. And he'll lie for anything. As a matter of fact, probably in the not too far from now, they'll probably present that, oh, you really said that? And he'll probably say, no, I did not. That's not true. When I heard it, and millions of people are hearing it. As a matter of fact, Democrats are leaving by the drove. And maybe it might be too late. It might be too late. Because the communists will not relinquish the presidency. They'll steal and do whatever they can. Just like Stalin said. It doesn't matter how many votes there are or how many people are voting. It's who counts the votes. I don't know if I said exactly, but more or less the quote was, is who count the votes. And they know it, because that's what they did in this election, where they stole the election. And the justice system let it happen. All these judges that were appointed by Barack Hussein Obama, who's just as bad, but this one is worse. This one makes Obama look like a charity member from the Salvation Army. This guy is the worst of the worst that has come to not serve, to lead our country. Because serve, he hasn't done anything. It's destroy, yes. What amazes me, I was in the veterans clinic the other day doing a laboratory for my appointment on my next appointment, which is this week coming. And there was another veteran who lost his arm, who served in the Marines, which I did too. That's where I served first, in '74. Then I went into the Navy. The guy lost the bottom of his arm in Fallujah. We were talking, and then in one part he was complaining about Joe Biden and this other veteran who served in the army, who I know is a good friend. And you have people that are ignorant and stupid enough to defend Biden and say, Trump we would have been at war right now, and thanks to Biden, we're not at war. I don't know where he's listening to where he gets information. But Biden wants to send troops to Ukraine. I wanted to say something, but I kind of kept quiet because the other person, I knew him. And I know him from years as a very good friend. And then he comes up with this crap. And the Marine that lost this part of his arm, he kept quiet too because he said, wait a minute, I'm losing this is a lost cause. So he which I applaud him. I felt sorry for him. I wanted to go out and tell him, hey, you was right. And I wanted to invite him in my pages. I hope he sees this. Because if he sees this, fellow Marine, I invite you to watch these videos and you are 100% right. And I know you didn't express yourself, and I did the same thing. I didn't express myself. I kept quiet because I didn't want to cause a ruckus there in the VA clinic. So I applaud you. You did the right thing. I can tell you're a gentleman. And if you see my video, which I wish I could have gotten your name and everything, watch my videos and my pages. I got I'm on Gab, MeWe, Parler, Getter, Magabook, Free Talk 45, and my WhatsApp. Remember, my name is Eduardo Rodriguez, and you could get in contact in my pages, and I got 4 blogs. One is for Cuba, one is for Venezuela, Gloria al Bravo Pueblo, Cuba, Noticias Disidentes for Cuba, and I stand with God and Israel eternally, which is clearly for Israel, and I pledge allegiance to the flag. So if somebody in the Marines who knows this guy, who was the first Marine amputee to keep on serving in the Marines, and sees this, and you know this Marine, and get in contact with him, tell him that I mentioned him. I just don't remember his name. God bless him, and God bless you, Marine, and thank you for your service. And I'm heartbroken for seeing your loss of your limb from your left arm. And the guy's left us. He had to learn how to use his right arm because he couldn't use his left. I'm sad and hurt about his situation, but God bless you, my friend. And you deserve the glory, every benefit they can give you, and you deserve. Unfortunately, I wish I could do more, but here I'm fighting. So this evil entity in the White House doesn't take away all the rights that we have, which he's trying to do. Because they're giving, like I say, all the benefits to illegals. And he's sending billions to Ukraine, but not a penny. And I'm talking I think it was in one, I read 33 billion for Ukraine. While we're suffering here from a lack of baby formula and shelves, empty shelves without food, and no funds for the police. Where you see a whole bunch of hoodlums and thugs ransacking the stores, and the police can't, and nothing can be done about it. I mean, we're living under a communist Islamic nightmare with hellish people who have no sense of love for this country and want to destroy it one way or another. I want to mention another thing, which is kind of a humor. There's this, which I presume, because he received a medal, and it's kind of funny that I think it was somebody from the communist regime sent him a medal. Went over to the home, and the guy is, his wife is laughing. He said, "Hey, here, you received the medal." And the guy says, "Medal? What medal? I'm hungry." The guy is starving. I believe he's a veteran because you can see it's a medal from his service in the Cuban army. He said, "I want food. I'm going hungry." And he said, "Well, here, you received the medal. Here's your food. Here's your food." And You know, she's laughing. And even the guy who's starving, the veteran who's starving, is laughing. And she puts the medal on the plate. He said, "Hey, you got your food right there." I think there was a person there from the representing the communist regime. You know, and it's funny. They wouldn't give him food. They wouldn't. It would have been preferable that they would have bring him food. He wants food. He served honorably in the Cuban army, and the guy is pleading for food because he's hungry. But then he's laughing because it just, you know, by the balls. Okay, that's not proper. By the balls, they just come and bring him a medal. And then they say, okay, we're going to raise your pension. Here we brought you food. Can you believe the goals of these people? I'm telling you, it's terrible. And it's the same thing that's going to happen in our system. They're going to destroy everything and do the same shameless, on purpose, the same thing. It's going to be a photocopy. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to come and give you a medal made out of maybe aluminum or any cheap metal, the cheapest metal they can find, just like they do in North Korea and China and all these other communist countries, and then let you starve to death. Oh, and give you a farewell with with a cheap I don't know. A horse, or maybe the casket mounted on what a horse? Maybe on a horseless carriage with people pulling it and taking it to the cemetery. This is terrible, and it's the same thing that's going to happen to us, and it's the same thing that Joe Biden is doing, lying and doesn't care, without shame and heartless. This guy is destroying our country. And we still got, I think a little bit more than 2 years of this nightmare. And maybe more, because I doubt they're going to respect and honor the next election. They're going to do the same crap. The only thing that we have left is, if we could, talk with, I don't know if the FBI will do it, or somebody in the FBI, or some police agency maybe from Texas, or from marshals from Texas, or from Florida, with Ron DeSantis, who's a great leader. Go over there to the White House and arrest the guy, and arrest all these people. Arrest Bernie Sanders, who's in charge of finance, who's destroying the economy. A person who criticized millionaires and billionaires and is now a millionaire. The same with others. The same with Pelosi. The same with Adam Schiff. All these people are the most evil fiends, vile, evil fiends on earth that you can think about. And they're putting people in power, including Muslims in different states, who wants the destruction, the annihilation of Israel. God bless you all. Let's pray and hope and struggle so that we can have Donald Trump back in power. If not Donald Trump, at least Ron DeSantis, which is another hope. We need people that are strong in power and remove and eliminate all these people who are destroying and imposing their will upon us. So God bless you all. See you tomorrow, hopefully. I'll be back. And God bless our country. And I stand with God and Israel eternally. God bless you, people of Israel. I'm always at your service. I'm always at your heart. And remember, I have a blog dedicated to Israel, which is called I Stand with God and Israel Eternally. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye, and God bless.